Hello, everyone. Happy 13th week in Ordinary Time. And also happy July. And, you know, the summer is going by very quickly, and it's already July. And so I hope you're having a good summer so far. And, this past week's readings are very powerful. And it, of course, as you recall, it's about healing, right? In the gospel, we hear about Jesus healing two people, right? The first is a woman who had suffered hemorrhages for 12 years, right? Bleeding and bleeding and bleeding and had, and of course in today's medical standpoint, it'll be, this woman had a clotting problem, right? The blood just wouldn't clot. And the second was more than a healing, right? Jesus raised Jairus' daughter back to life. But I want to share with you a little bit about sort of it's more than just physical healing, right? Because if I'm sick, I go to the doctor, I get medicine, I'm cured, right? But when Jesus heals, it's always more than just the physical healing. There is a healing that is of a spiritual nature. And you have to, well, why do you say that? Because this woman was clearly hemorrhaging, and then we're told that the blood dried up and she was cured. Yes. But what did Jesus say to the woman, right? He says to her, "Daughter, your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be cured of your affliction." When I go to the doctor and I have like an infection, and the doctor won't say, "Okay, well, here's your prescription, and it is because of your faith that you're saved," right? No, it's because of the efficacy of the medicine that's saved. I mean that healed my infection, or whatever it may be. But Jesus says your faith has saved you, right? That it leads us to believe and see that any ailment that we have, right, there is a physical level, but there is also a spiritual dimension to it, right? That sometimes when we don't feel well, right, we may have physical symptoms of certain things, but yet we know that might be psychosomatic, right? That it might be because of our mood or of our mental status, right? That sometimes when we have mental illness, it manifests itself in physical ways. And sometimes there is no medicine for that, right? Except for time and therapy. And in the same way, there is a spiritual dimension to our ailments, right? And Jesus saw that. Jesus saw that this woman, yes, she was hemorrhaging, but although she was healed from her hemorrhaging, immediately, right? Once that woman touched the hem of the cloak of Jesus, we're told that immediately her flow of blood dried up. She felt in her body that she was healed of her affliction. Immediately, right? There was an immediate cure. But yet, Jesus wasn't done with her. And she wasn't done with Jesus yet either. Jesus asked, who touched my cloak? Who touched my cloak? And then that woman came forward, and listen to what she said. The woman, realizing what had happened to her, approached in fear and trembling. Why? What did she realize happened? She realized that she was cured, that her afflictions were alleviated, that she was truly in the presence of someone that was divine, someone that had power to save not just her body, not just her physical illness, but her soul. And that's why she approached in fear and trembling. What did she do? She fell down before Jesus and told him the whole truth. The whole truth, brothers and sisters. We don't know what this whole truth is. But we can speculate that this whole truth was sort of like a general confession. That she recounted her entire life. From the moments in her childhood to the present day. The times when she was faithful. The times when she was tempted. The time when she fell into temptation, the times when she was unfaithful, the times when she ran away from God, the times when she tried to go back but was drawn back again and falling back again into sin. The whole truth. This woman stood there before the Lord and was honest with him. And that's when he said to her, "My daughter, your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be cured of your affliction." Brothers and sisters, that is what the Lord wishes to do for us. He wishes to cure us of our affliction so that we may live in peace. But we need to have the faith like this woman, right? Her faith is sort of crazy, that she believed that if she only even touched the hem, the cloak, the clothes of Jesus, she'd be healed. Think about that. That's some crazy faith right there, right? That's crazy. That you would think that, it's like if I were to go to the doctors, if I can only touch the doctor's lab coat, I'll be healed. That's the kind of faith that she had. Right? Because she knew that Jesus was not just a regular teacher, a regular physician, but that Jesus was the Lord. And notice, Mark tells us that she had suffered greatly at the hands of many doctors and has spent all that she had. Yet she was not helped, but only grew worse. How many times, brothers and sisters, when we, in our moments of weakness, we turn to things that we think will give us happiness, that will give us pleasure, that will give us what it is that we're truly desiring, only to find out that it's not, that what it gave us was only temporary, and that in fact it left us even worse. It left us even in a worse shape. What are those doctors? Who are those doctors that we turn to? That we turn to for healing, but instead those were actually avenues of deepening our sin, avenues of deepening our pain and our wound. There's only one physician that can heal body and soul. And he comes to you and me today. He comes to us. And he says that he wants to heal us, but only if we wish. Only if we approach Jesus in humility, in faith, in confidence, and reveal to him the whole truth. Bear our entire selves and say, look, this is me, Lord. These are my sins. These are the moments that I am ashamed of. These are the things that I've done. Only when we do that, brothers and sisters, will we have that peace that we so desire. And only then will we be cured of our afflictions. So we have faith, brothers and sisters, that just as Jesus did for this woman who was hemorrhaging for 12 years, he wishes to do for us. But do we want it? Do we see the need for healing? Do we see the need for a physician? Do we see the need for Jesus? So, brothers and sisters, during this 13th week of ordinary time, I invite you to think about your life and see where you are now and where you would like it to be. And invite Jesus into that journey. Invite Jesus into your life. Ask him to give you the faith, like this woman, and the grace to go to him, to show him all the areas in your life that you need healing. Trusting that he will say to us, daughter, son, your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be cured of your affliction. Let us ask the Lord for the grace of a deeper faith, a more personal faith, an encounter with Jesus, the living God, the Son of the living God. And, I won't go into the second healing because, it's similar, but the one point to note is that the little girl herself did not go to Jesus, but it was the Father. That it was the Father's faith. It was the Father's faith that healed, that brought the little girl back to life. So, brothers and sisters, it is important that we pray for each other. It is important that we intercede for our brothers and sisters, because our prayers, like Jairus' prayers, can bring someone healing, can bring someone even back from the dead. So, one, invite Jesus into your life. Have confidence that he will see you and he will heal you, and that he will give you the peace that you so desire. And two, pray for others. Pray for yourself, but also pray for others, trusting that God hears our prayers. And like for Jairus, Jesus will also bring about healing to those around us because of our faith. Happy 13th week of ordinary time. And this week we have several feast days. On the 3rd, we have St. Thomas the Apostle, doubting Thomas, right? But again, Thomas, his wounds, right? Thomas needed to see Jesus' wounds, and Jesus shows them, saying, look, here are my wounds. And it is by his wounds that we are healed, but we'll talk more about that later. And then it is First Friday, of course, 4th of July, and then Saturday is the feast day of St. Maria Goretti, who was a remarkable young woman who stayed faithful to Jesus and said no to what this world says that she would like, but she said no, and because of her no to the world, she was killed. But her faith, it was her faith in the Lord Jesus. It was her faith, and it was Thomas's faith later on that led them both to the cross. And by their prayers, by their martyrdom, the church is here today. So happy 13th week of ordinary time, and I'll see you next week. God bless you.